November 2025 is another brutal month in the tech industry's ongoing layoff saga. While you were gearing up for the holidays, more companies filed paperwork that puts thousands of tech workers out of jobs. One of Silicon Valley's most layoff resistant companies finally broke its streak. A tech giant blamed AI for cutting thousands of jobs, and a unicorn startup halved its workforce. I'm going to break down four companies that made cuts, why they did it, and where it's likely to hit. Of course, there were more than this, but these are the largest I found with US impact. If you're in a hurry, here's a summary. Now let's get into it. HP, or Hewlett Packard, is the big name in the November announcements for tech cuts. But wait, haven't we seen layoffs from HP already in 2025? Yes, back in February. But don't gloss over the latest announcements thinking that it's old news. Back in February, about 2,000 jobs were lost due to restructuring. November is new. On the 25th November, they filed a legal disclosure of their plans to lay off 4 to 6,000 jobs. This is the legal document. HP explicitly cite AI as the reason. So, how much of this is tech as opposed to other roles like sales, finance? There isn't an official breakdown yet of software engineering, data science, and so on. And HP has a big sales contingent. They sell products, they have supply chain and logistics for manufacturing. But their R&D divisions have a lot of software engineers, hardware engineers, and firmware developers. Let's guess that it's 10%. Layoffs could be affecting 500 tech employees. It's a guess. The next company could be bigger in terms of tech layoffs. Like HP, it's a giant in its field, but it's not a household name. The company is Synopsys. It builds the tools engineers use to design and test silicon chips. In November, they filed disclosure of plans to cut 10% of their workforce. With a global headcount of 28,000, that could be about 2,800 employees. Now, their US headcount is 8,000, mostly in their HQ in California, in Austin, Texas, Boston, and Hillsborough in Oregon. They also have a significant presence in Canada. The rest of the employees are primarily in India. But here's the thing, with India being low cost, I wouldn't expect the distribution of the layoffs to be proportional. Having said that, it's important to know that a big factor in these layoffs is that they had a massive 3.5 billion acquisition of another company in early 2025. As typically happens with a merger, there will be a lot of overlap in HR, finance, and other backroom areas, and those roles may account for a lot of the layoffs. The tech layoffs remain to be seen, but they won't be insignificant. So can we forecast how many tech employees could be affected? This website, unifygtm.com, provides analytic and statistics about companies, and it estimates that 47% of the workforce are engineering. So can we forecast the numbers based on 47% tech? And they may be hit a little less hard than other corporate positions. My estimate is that it could be about 1,300 tech layoffs here. On to the third company on my list of four, which is Pipe. This is a US fintech based in Miami that was valued at $2 billion in 2021. They make financial tools for small and medium businesses. Commentators in that industry are saying that Pipe are laying off a whopping half of their staff. Now, proportionally, this is a small company with about 150 employees, but 50% is a real haircut. I'm not going to spend much time on Pipe. These smaller startups are turbulent, very tough for the staff, but having worked for a startup myself, I never expected long-term stability. Finally, the fourth company on my list is Apple. Whoa, wait. I'm putting Apple after Pipe? Apple is a bigger name than HP. Let me explain. On the 24th of November, Apple made a statement to Bloomberg that they were cutting some sales staff. It's really rare for Apple to have any layoffs, so this was big news. But because this channel is about tech, I've put this fourth as the layoffs didn't explicitly include engineers. Still, precedent is a precedent, and it's worth keeping an eye on this giant. That's the end of the November roundup. I'll be doing the December roundup a little early in the last week of December, so be sure to subscribe not to miss it. The best Christmas present would be an empty list. Here's hoping. See you then.